Welcome everybody, my name is Ankit Patel and today we are going to study about mitotic cell division. But before we proceed to our topic, we will get acquainted with some terminologies, right? That is, and we will get some idea about mitosis as well. We will study about, we will discuss about different types of cell division also, right? So let's talk about first diploid and haploid term. First of all, we talk about diploid cells. What kind of cells are called diploid cells? The cells which are having two sets of chromosomes, right? Two sets of chromosomes. And these two sets of chromosomes are making up whole DNA content of the cell. So a cell which is having two sets of chromosome or whole content of DNA molecule or whole content of genetic material are called diploid cells. Understood? And there is one more type of cell which are called haploid cells. These haploid cells are having only one set of chromosome and they are having only half of the DNA content of the cell. That means they are having half of the genetic material, right? So this kind of cells are called haploid cells. There are three types of cell division: mitosis, meiosis and amitosis. Today we will study about mitosis, but we need to know that what are haploid cells and what are diploid cells, because when mitosis is occurring, mother cell divide to form two cells and both these two cells are diploid cells. So a diploid cell is undergoing cell division and forming two diploid cells. When meiosis is occurring, one mother cell will undergo this kind of division and division of this mother cell will produce four haploid cells. Understood? In mitosis, number of chromosomes remains same. And that's why mitosis is also called equational division. It is called equational division because here number of chromosomes remain same, while in meiosis number of chromosomes reduce to half. Understood? That's why daughter cells are haploid here. So this is about diploid cells and haploid cells. Again, mitosis is in animals. Mitosis is occurring only in diploid cells, right? Only in diploid somatic cells. Again, now what is this somatic cell? But all those cells which will not undergo division to produce gametes, right? Means if any cell is undergoing cell division and producing gametes, then those type of cells are called, they are not called somatic cells, and except these cells, all other cells are called somatic cells. So in animals, all diploid somatic cells have capacity to undergo mitotic division, right? Haploid cells does not undergo mitotic division, yet there is an exception, that is in honeybee. In honeybee, because all cells of male honeybee are haploid cells, and these cells are undergoing mitotic division. So there are some exceptions in animals, and in contrast to this, in plants, both diploid cells and haploid cells can undergo mitotic division. Understood? In last video, we have studied about three phases, that is G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. There is one more phase, obviously M phase is also there, but there is one more phase other than these four phases, and it is G0 phase, right? It is G0 phase, or it is also called as quiescent stage. It is called as quiescent stage. Understood? When a cell enters in quiescent stage, it have actually escaped from cell cycle. Understood? When a cell is escaping from cell cycle, it is entering in quiescent stage or G0 phase, right? In this phase, all those metabolic reactions which are required for cell to undergo undergoing cell cycling processes, means all those chemical reactions which are helping in transition of these cells from one phase to another phase, that is from G1 phase to S phase, from then S to G2 and then G2 to M phase. All these chemical reactions which are required for these transitions are not occurring when cell have undergone G0 phase or quiescent stage. Understood? But remaining all metabolic reactions which are required for survival of the cell is occurring. So these cells are metabolically active, but all those reactions which are required for transition of cell from one phase to another phase are not occurring. Understood? So this is about quiescent stage or G0 phase. This is about haploid cells and diploid cells. There are three types of cell division: mitosis, meiosis, and amitosis. We will study about meiosis and amitosis in next video. In this video, we will focus about mitosis cell division. So let's come on mitosis cell division now. As we have already discussed that mitosis is an equational division, right? Why? Number of chromosomes remains same. If a diploid cell is undergoing this division, then daughter cells will be diploid, and if haploid cells are undergoing this division, then they will produce haploid cells. That means number of chromosomes remains same. Understood? In G0 phase, that means in interphase, these chromosomes are present in the form of chromatin fiber, right? It is very important to know, or it is very important to remember that in interphase, this DNA is present in the form of chromatin material, right? They will undergo certain changes which will convert this chromatin fiber into chromosomes in M phase during mitosis cell division. We will study about this further. Talking about mitosis, whole mitosis process is divided into two parts. One is called karyokinesis and another one is called cytokinesis. We have discussed about this already, right? That karyokinesis is nothing but division of nucleus, and cytokinesis means division of cytoplasm or remaining part of cell. Understood? So this is about karyokinesis and cytokinesis. And this karyokinesis is further divided into four different phases. That is prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase, right? So let's start with prophase. Prophase is the first phase of mitotic cell division in karyokinesis. So let's talk about prophase. We know that in interphase, DNA is present in chromatin fiber form, and now it has to get converted into chromosome before it get divided into two cell. Before the cell get divided into two cell, or before nucleus get divided into two cell, right? So this chromatin fiber have to get converted into chromosome, and this process is occurring by condensation of chromatin fiber. So during prophase, this chromatin fiber are undergoing condensation process in which they slowly get converted into chromosomes, right? Moreover, the two centrosomes which have formed during S phase, before S phase there was only one centrosome, and after S phase there were two centrosomes. These two centrosomes have started to move towards different poles. We have already discussed in cell cycle that before this chromosome or before this chromatin material, we have already discussed that before cell undergoes M phase, that before mitosis starts, chromatin fiber is present in such a way that it can form 4C chromosome, right? It can form 4C chromosome. 4C chromosome means these chromosomes are having two sister chromatids, right? Each chromosomes are having two chromatids, right? So here, kind of chromosome will form which is having two chromatids. And in this phase, if cell are seen under microscope, we will not find Golgi apparatus, nuclear membrane, endoplasmic reticulum. All such organelles cannot be seen under microscope, right? Nucleolus have also got disappear. Nucleolus is nothing but it is dense content of chromatin fiber. So here no chromatin fiber is there, all chromatin fiber have converted into chromosomes, so nucleolus will not appear. Understood? Moreover, nuclear membrane during this division got disintegrated, and endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, all these are organelles which are part of endomembrane system, are actually extension of nuclear membrane, right? If we see them in broader view, they are nothing but extension of nuclear membrane. So with nuclear membrane, all these organelles also get disintegrated. So they are not seen under microscope when this phase have approached. Let's say this is a cell which will undergo prophase. This is nuclear membrane which is undergoing disintegration process, right? And here, let's say this is a cell having 4 chromosomes, right? In 4 chromosomes, whole content of DNA get completed, right? These are chromatin fiber getting condensed into chromosomes, right? So here they are just partially condensed. When they become fully condensed, they get converted into chromosomes, right? That we have drawn already in nucleus topic as well as in cell cycle topic, right? Here still they have not completely two sister chromatin formation is there, but two sister chromatin formation will be there gradually. Understood? You can see here that nuclear membrane is disintegrating over here, right? So this is about prophase. You should draw this kind of diagram when you are about to draw prophase, right? So next stage is metaphase stage. After this chromosome get condensed, the moment this chromosome get fully condensed, metaphase stage begins, right? In this metaphase stage, all the esters that have produced, all microtubules that have radiated out from the centrioles, from the centrosome during prophase, this microtubules will extend, and this microtubule will form spindle fibers, right? And this spindle fibers will extend toward the centromere of fully formed or fully condensed chromosomes, right? They will extend towards the centromere of chromosomes. In centromere also there is a disc-like structure which are called kinetochores. So this spindle fiber, end of this spindle fiber get attached to the kinetochores of different chromosomes, right? Let's draw a diagram first, then we will understand it very clearly. So here, this 4 chromatin fibers have condensed into 4 different chromosomes, and during metaphase stage, these 4 chromosomes are arranged at equatorial plate, or they are arranged at metaphase plate, right? But before they get arranged at metaphase plate, they got attached with spindle fiber, right? They got attached with the spindle fiber. These are spindle fibers that are made up of microtubules. They have radiated out from the centrioles. Earlier, these chromosomes are not arranged at metaphase plate or equatorial plate, but what makes them arranged in plate, that is, this spindle fiber get attached to the kinetochores of chromosomes. So two spindle fibers from two different poles, right? From two different centriole present at two different poles. From this two centrosome spindle fibers or microtubules are arising. This fibers get attached to two kinetochores of a chromosome, right? In a chromosome, we know that in a chromosome there are two disc-like structures surrounding the centromere, and it is called kinetochores. So they get attached to the kinetochores, right? And they are stretching this kinetochores with the same strength, right? With the same force. That's why it comes in between the two centrosome. Understood? Same with all the chromosomes. It is same with all chromosomes, right? So all the chromosomes get arranged at metaphase plate or equatorial plate due to the spindle fibers, right? And this fibers are forming this kind of shape. That's why they are called spindle fiber formation. This kind of shape is called spindle shape, right? And because of this fibers, spindle shape is forming, and that's why this kind of shape is called, this kind of fibers are called spindle fiber formation, right? Formation of this kind of thing is called spindle fiber formation. Understood? They are nothing but microtubules that have radiated out from the centrosome, right? When they have radiated out from the centrosome, earlier they are called as ester, but when such kind of structure forms, it is called spindle fiber, right? They are called spindle fibers. So this is about metaphase plate. Now let's see what is occurring in anaphase, right? During anaphase. Now we know that both of this spindle fiber are stretching this centrosome, stretching this chromosome, and this chromosome having two different chromatids, right? Two sister chromatids, right? And to each chromatid there is one kinetochore. To each chromatid there is one kinetochore, and this spindle fiber are attached to that kinetochore, right? Now both this fiber, let's say for this chromosome, both this fiber are stretching the kinetochores to which they are attached, right? They are pulling, not stretching, they are pulling the kinetochores to which they are attached. As a result of which this chromosome gets split into two different chromatids, right? Both the chromatids get separated from each other, and it is resulting into splitting of chromosomes. Let's say there are two poles. Now what is occurring in this cell is this spindle fibers are getting pulled towards the centriole, right? Are pulled towards their respective poles. As a result of which they are pulling their respective chromatids also, right? They are pulling their respective chromatids as well. Understood? As a result, these chromatids are moving towards their respective pole. That is, this different four chromatids are moving towards this pole, and these chromatids are moving towards the so-called upper pole, right? So these chromatids are moving towards their respective pole, and here each chromosome are separated, right? In each chromosome, two sister chromatids are separated from each other, and this phase is called anaphase, right? And end of this phase will result into telophase, in which all the chromatids have reached towards their respective pole. So let's study about telophase also. Let's draw a diagram of telophase also. So this is how in a cell all the chromatids or all the newly formed chromosomes which are having just single chromatid have moved towards their respective pole in telophase, right? So this is telophase, in which all chromosomes are reached toward their respective poles. It is nothing but end of the anaphase, right? So this is how cell division or nucleus division is occurring in the mitosis, right? In the cell which is undergoing mitosis process. Again, after reaching of this chromosomes toward their respective pole, nuclear membrane begins to form here, right? Here nuclear membrane begins to form. After this process, this chromosome will start to get decondensed, and they'll get converted into chromatin fiber again. Understood? After this decondensation process, all the chromatin material which is required by a nucleus to have will be there inside the nucleus, right? So there is formation of nuclear membrane, and inside this nuclear membrane all these chromosomes have decondensed into chromatin material. So in a cell now there will be two nucleus, right? There will be two nucleus in a cell, and there will be formation of all the organelles which belongs to endomembrane system also, right? That is endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, and all those organelles begins to develop here, right? Begins to redevelop here, and all these organelles with their two nucleus get separated from each other, right? All this means the two nuclei means the two nuclei with all organelles get distributed to their respective cells, right? They get equally distributed to the two daughter cells, right? That will form due to cytokinesis process. So this is about karyokinesis process, and now we'll start cytokinesis process. After the karyokinesis, before cytokinesis, at this intermediate stage, the cell will be such like it will have two nucleus in it. It will have two nuclei in it. Understood? Obviously with its own chromatin material, right? Obviously with their own chromatin material, and this chromatin material on condensation can form 2C chromosomes, right? Can form 2C chromosomes. Since chromosomes having just one chromatid, understood? Chromosome having only one chromatid is called 2C chromosome, and chromosome having two chromatids are called 4C chromosomes, right? So this chromatin material have capacity to form under condensation process, they have capacity to form 2C chromosomes, right? So they are complete nuclei, and it is present, and they are present in one cell. Now again, in two different type of cells, that is in plant cell and animal cells, cytokinesis are different, right? Cytokinesis occur in these two cells are different. Understood? Let's say first we'll see in animals, right? If animal cell is there, in animal cell, let's say there are two nuclei, right? Now how cytokinesis will proceed? These two nuclei are same in size, right? Let's consider that these two nuclei are same in size. Here they are not same in size, but let's consider that. Okay. Now what will occur over here is, here at almost at the equatorial part there will be formation of two furrows, right? There will be formation of two furrows. Understood? Then this two furrow will proceed inwardly. They proceed further till they get merged with each other. And thus there will be formation of two cells. Here whole cytokinesis process gets completed, right? In animal cells cytokinesis occur in this way. Understood? Let's see how it is occurring in plant cell. We know that in plant cell there are two layers of cell wall, that is primary cell wall and secondary cell wall. Secondary cell wall is present at the inner side, primary cell wall is present at the outer side, and between two cells there is a region called middle lamella, which is consisting of calcium pectate, right? Which is consisting of calcium pectate. Understood? And this chemical calcium pectate is helping two cells to adhere with each other. Understood? So let's see how cytokinesis is occurring in plant cell. Let's say this is primary cell wall. Between primary cell wall of two cells, there are gaps. And obviously in each cell like this, with primary cell wall there will be secondary cell wall as well. And between primary walls of each two adjacent cell there are middle lamella. Okay, there is nucleus also. There are two nuclei in this cell because it have completed its karyokinesis and now it is about to begin its cytokinesis. Let's say this is middle lamella, which is present between primary cell wall of two cells, of two adjacent cells. So this is how middle lamella is present between primary wall of each two adjacent cells, right? Now let's see how cytokinesis is occurring over here. First of all, there will be formation of simple precursor cell plate. Then this cell plate will extend towards its periphery, right? Understood? Again, this extension will further proceed till it reaches to its periphery, right? This is how cytokinesis get achieved in plant cell, right? This is how the two cells get divided after karyokinesis process, right? And this process in both of the cells, in both type of cells, that is in animal cell and plant cell, cytokinesis processes are occurring. Understood? So this is about mitosis, in which we have studied both karyokinesis process and cytokinesis process. Let's discuss about significance of mitosis now. First is growth and development. We know that during fertilization, male gamete and female gamete get fused with each other, forming zygote, and this zygote undergoes mitotic division several times to produce fully developed baby. Further, this baby is growing into a whole adult organism, right? In whole this process, from the formation of zygote till the growth of that organism into adult one, mitosis play a key role in it. Next is genetic stability. We know that during S phase, this DNA molecules get replicate itself, and there will be formation of two DNA copies, right? So cells which have undergone S phase have two copies of DNA, right? When these cells are undergoing M phase, the cell get divided and the two copies of DNA get distributed to each of these cells. So now each daughter cells are having one copy of DNA. So in this way, genetic stability is maintained here. Here cells does not, during each successive S phase, cells are not content of DNA doesn't get multiplied by 2 every time they are entered in S phase, right? Because during M phase, content of DNA again reduced to half, right? Not number of chromosomes, right? Content of DNA, mass of chromosome, not number of chromosomes, right? And that's why genetic stability is maintained here due to mitosis, cell division, right? Next is repair. Repair is the process in which is required because there are several surfaces over our body from which cell get destroyed due to wear and tear, and this destroyed or old cells are replaced by newly formed cells. These newly formed cells are newly formed because they are formed due to mitotic cell division, right? So these old cells which we don't require, or these worn out cells, are replaced by newly formed cells which have formed due to mitosis, right? Next is regeneration and healing. Whenever we get a cut or wound, we know that that cut or wound get heals. That is because some cells which are present at that heal are undergoing mitosis cell division, and they produce more number of cells to cover that heal, right? So this is how healing can be occur. And moreover, there is one more process called regeneration. We know that when tail of lizard get tail, whole tail get regenerated, right, after a gradual period of time. And even in some organisms like starfish, each part have capacity to develop into whole organism by regeneration process, right? Each arm have that capacity. So in here also mitosis play a key role, and in all these four things, mitosis is very, very essential. In fact, mitosis is playing a key role in all this in all these processes, right? So this is about significance of mitosis. And now in next class we will study about meiosis and amitosis.